All right. Am I live? Are we good? Are we here? Hello. Okay, so sorry if that took a little bit long. Okay, experiencing a little bit of technical difficulties here. It's telling me that it's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming, but well, it looks like it's a little bit behind on my other preview window because I'm not using the other YouTube preview. I'm just using the main one because it gets a lower quality and therefore it doesn't bother the internet too much. So, but just so you know, well, you guys are probably watching it at 720p at 60 frames per second, which, by the way, is probably the highest quality that my internet could probably handle at the moment because I don't want to push it to do something else. Okay, yeah, the mic is still on too. It's working. Okay, that's good. Okay, I'm going to mute that, so that's not annoying. All right. I don't know if anybody's here yet. It says one is watching now, but I'm pretty sure that one is me, more than likely. Oh, the screen went completely and totally gray. Oh, do I have to adjust my camera here? Give me a quick second. Okay, not too much adjustment was needed. Okay, that's good. Alrighty then. So I'm going to get some music on in the background here. Give me a quick sec. There we go. Let me know if you can't hear it, okay? Then I'll try to make some adjustments. Excuse me. Some of these songs are silent. Some of these songs are not silent. Some of them are kind of in the middle. I can't really necessarily control how loud the volume is at times, okay? Oh, so I'm sorry. But I am running it off of Windows Media Player, which is probably the best that I got when it comes down to doing some media and such. But, you know, that's beyond the point. So far, it looks like it's doing fine. Okay, good. Nothing's crashed yet. And it is 2 o'clock now. Whoopee! Yay! I can officially call this stream live now for the people who are watching. And wowee, that was kind of weird to see. My stream is just catching up to the point where I just adjusted the camera. I need to stop looking over this direction and start looking towards you guys because you know what? You're more important. Because, well, just so you know, yeah, I adjusted it. One monitor's over here, another monitor's over here, and my drawing tablet's now down here. It's no longer how it used to be. So basically, now I got a bigger screen to view off of. Because, granted, even if I like the screen on the drawing tablet, because it is very, very nice. Probably one of the nicest screens I've probably ever used in my life. It doesn't necessarily mean that it works really well for the terms of streaming and such. So, yeah. All right. So, I guess I should probably start the discussion now because I actually have rehearsed this and I have planned this out. And granted, while there's nobody really watching right now, it doesn't necessarily mean that I can't try and do stuff. Why on earth is it going down to 0 kilobits per second? Oh, sorry, Susie. Didn't mean to scare you. Anyway, it's kind of infuriating that it keeps doing this. I hate the internet out here. I just hate it. I just really do. I mean, they actually tried to fix the internet so that we're paying less and getting better internet data, and yet it's still jumping all over the place. In fact, I was running like several speed tests, and I even ran a speed test real quick, like while I was doing the streaming, and the buffering was just like all over the place. It was like reading 8 gigabytes per second, 10 gigabytes, 12 gigabytes, and then back down to 8, and then went back to 12 again. And then, of course, I mean, well, this is for the upload speed. The download speed actually wasn't really relevant for streaming, but to tell you the truth, it was also reading all over the place too. Sometimes there was times where even the upload speed was faster than the download speed, which is highly unusual because that never really happens. So either A, the internet is being absolute garbage today. There's a lot of people using it, which is causing a lot of interference. Or B, there could be something else going on, which I have absolutely positively no clue about. Which, you know, look, don't look at me, okay? Don't blame me about the quality of the stream, okay? If you see it go gray at times or, you know, it keeps saying error and the stream current bitrate is 13.49 kilobits per second, even though I did not set the streaming to be at that bitrate, actually. I actually set it to be at 3,000 kilobits per second, which is probably way more than I should have, which was a dumb move on my part, to be fair. But yeah, yeah. It was a really dumb move for me to do. And personally, I do kind of wish that I would have been a little bit smarter about thinking this through. So, yeah. But in other words, I was just rehearsing this last night, and I actually do have what I want to say in mind already in mind. So let me start off by saying that, first of all, why would I want to build my own engine again? First of all, primarily, it's just due to the fact that I have more control over the engine, so that, you know what, basically, unlike engines like Unreal or Unity or whatever, if there's a specific feature that I need to do, I don't have to go scrolling through an asset store or searching through an asset store to find something. I could just code it myself and get it implemented to my engine right away. Or if there was like a specific update to fix a bug inside the engine that I accidentally found and couldn't finish the game because of the stupid bug, then in that case, I don't have to wait on them. I could just fix it myself. I don't have to worry about them like having to go through, find the bug, and then fix it, and then patch out an update, and then I have to wait hours and hours on end to download. No, I could just debug it right there inside my local debugging program and run it and get it fixed right off the bat, you know? And of course, another issue that also comes up when it comes down to game development is, my bottom light strip went dead. Oh, that's why my bottom light strip went dead. Oh no, it fell apart again? Son of a gun. Son of a gun. Why does it keep doing this? There. Now, I got some tape up here. Stay! There we go. Anyway, enough distractions. Let's get back to focusing on this. So another reason why I would also want to develop my own engine is actually because of the fact that there's also specific things that I would like to try out myself. It allows me to have more freedom to tinker around, to explore just a little bit, and to do things that, you know what, most people probably wouldn't be able to do in an engine like Unity or Unreal or like Godot. Even if Godot is like open source, and I do actually recommend Godot over Unity and Unreal any day, I'm still building my own engine. Also, an optimization thing, too. This is the one thing about building your own engine that's also amazing, too, is that you can optimize it for any computer. Optimization is like a $4,000 word inside the gaming industry now these days. Because guess what? Nobody is doing it anymore. Or very few people are, really. Because, well, let's face it, the one company that is keeping the spirit of optimization alive is Nintendo, but we don't know how long they're going to be able to keep this alive because everybody's spreading around rumors about a Switch 2 coming out or whatever. I don't believe them, only because of the fact that, yes, even if next gen is inevitable, I really do not think that Nintendo is going to release a more powerful version of the Switch because of what happened the last few times they tried to release a more powerful version of their console. The new 3DS wasn't very successful. The Nintendo Wii U wasn't very successful, and that's more like a more powerful version of the Wii. Even though, granted, to be fair, even if the Wii U does have some perks that stands on its own, it's still more of a powerful version of the Wii because I played more Wii games on my Wii U than I do Wii U games, which is bizarre, to say the least. So yes, it is a more powerful version of the Wii. So, but when it comes down to it, I really don't think Nintendo's going to release a Switch 2 and make it a more powerful version of the Nintendo Switch. Trust me. And as far as I know, they're probably not going to be, and they're not interested in tracing the train of trying to be the most powerful and innovative console out there because, you know what? Number one, Microsoft and Sony do that enough already, and they're screwing themselves over with it anyway. Because, trust me, let's just say, oh yeah, let's see, Microsoft's new decision with their latest console to screw over people by getting rid of physical releases, yeah, that's not going down well for them, is it? Also, Sony, how easy is it to get a PlayStation 5 now these days? I mean, sure, I get it. It's probably easier than it was when it first released, but still, it's still not easy to get your hands on one, nor is it really cheap. Even the new PlayStation 5 Slim is more like, just slightly smaller. And I don't even know what they did to make it slimmer. Because, I mean, come on. When it comes down to it, there's a channel out there called DIY Perks. And went ahead and built their own PS5 Slim And it's a lot slimmer than the PlayStation 5 Slim. How on earth did this happen? I don't know. But anyway, I'm going on a tangent. Anyway, optimization. Optimization. This is what I was talking about. This is what got me on that tangent. So I better get back into the terms and talk about optimization primarily, because it is very important to the gaming industry, whether these developers want to admit to it or not. Because look, even the computers are gotten way more powerful and can handle way more than what they used to, it still doesn't mean that your game has to run like absolute garbage on hardware that has like maybe a 1650, like, oh, well, not a 1650, but let's go more like a, okay, let's go for a 1050 anyway. That's slightly less powerful than the 1650, but the 1650, from what I understand, is in between a 1660 and a 1650, or a 10. Man, I am failing at this, but you know, it's slightly less powerful than the 1060 and the 1050. It's a little bit more powerful than the 1050 as far as I know, but that's as far as I know. But, you know, for computers that don't really necessarily have the most top-end hardware or the fastest hardware or whatever, I mean, what about those players, huh? There's not many people who can afford the highest end of hardware, and this is kind of the problem with AAA gaming, and where I would like to start saying that AAA gaming is now becoming more of a billionaire's hobby than it is becoming, well, the poor man's hobby. And it's kind of upsetting. And personally, I kind of want to keep the spirit of accessibility alive because of the fact that really it helps with selling your game. It helps with pushing more copies, you know? Because you know what? This is the biggest problem with any kind of game, really. I mean, heck, even some of the games that are now able to run on my computer because I got the RAM and the graphics card for it, still barely run on this thing, only because of the fact that it still lacks some of the power in certain areas in order to render some of these games properly. So, you know, actually, think of it like Psychonauts 2, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, A Hat in Time, and actually that one is a very unrecent example. And then, of course, actually, I even got Hi-Fi Rush, and even this computer still barely runs at 1600 by 900. Yeah, I don't run it at 1080p. I never do. And, you know, this is also considering the fact that I also do streaming. I also do hardware for doing that kind of stuff. And, you know, there's a benefit to optimization, too. If your game runs very minimalistically on smaller computers, not only can the poor guy enjoy it, but also the person who has a computer who has a whole lot of hardware to it could do more with their while they're playing their game. Look, when it comes down to it, when I leave this computer to render a video, I try hard not to play any games or anything like that in the background, because even with the 42 gigs of RAM that this thing has, the i7 and the 1650 that I have inside here, I still don't think it's going to be able to run a game and render a video at the same exact time. Though, granted, you should never do that anyway, because that could lead to corruption and all that such, but that's beyond the point. The point is that basically with proper optimization, you can get more people playing your game. And, you know, there's a very serious importance with that. I mean, oh yeah, not to mention, there's also way more games out there that have cards that are recommended for a minimum recommendation that barely even run on those. And granted, I know there's like FSR and the DV whatever, and, you know, those little things that generate like fake frames and such, but I'm not a big fan of, I don't want to really necessarily use those as an excuse for my lack of optimization. So personally, that's another benefit about building your own engine, is that you can optimize your game as much as you possibly can. So that not only could you make it take up a lot less space on a hard drive, which is also a good thing too, but you could also make it so that, hey, look, it runs on any computer. I mean, that's probably far more impressive than getting it to run on that Intel i9 with, well, actually, the i9 kind of sucks. Actually, the Ryzen 9 is much better. Trust me. The Ryzen 9 with the all-new NVIDIA, like, 5,000 series on it, which probably would be their more top-of-the-line card after they release it, or like 9,000, or 490. Let's just stick with that. Yeah, actually, I think that running a game on any computer would be far more impressive than having it run on the highest end of hardware, is the point I'm trying to make. Gosh dang it, I'm going on tangents, aren't I? I really need to keep myself focused. But, you know, and then also, again, there's also experiments and ideas that I would like to try out with my own engine that, you know what, I'm pretty sure most engines would probably freak out with. So, you know, there's that. So anyway, I guess I better start showing you on some of the things that I'm working on here. So, all right. Nobody's still watching yet, are they? I better check my view count. Concurrent viewers 1, likes 1. Okay, so there is nobody still viewing this yet. Well, that's kind of sad, but oh well. But it looks like it's doing well. Hey, why do you keep doing this? Okay, I'm just gonna put down Firefox. I'm sorry! I didn't mean to do it! I need a gunfight sound effect for this! You know, maybe I should have like a separate device up with this and I could just manage my stream from there. You know, why don't I do that? You know what? Give me a second. I got an idea. Though, granted, I'm going to have to move my laptop in here, but that's fine. I could probably set it up on the floor or something. Actually, I got this little basket here that I could probably set it on top of. It's sturdy enough. I'm pretty sure. Let me grab my old HP laptop. Give me a second. Doobity-doo. Doobity-doobity. Doobity-doo. Oh, it's about time you got to the litter box. Just saying. Anyway, don't mind me. I'm just doing stuff over here. Keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. You do you. Yep. I am. I'm in a live stream right now. Probably should have that sign flipped over. There we go. I guess dropping it on the floor the other day, was not a good thing for it. The battery got lodged out of place. Whoops. My old HP laptop with the AMD Radeon AMD A4 with Radeon graphics. I think the 300,000 series. I think it's an old laptop. Runs mint rather well though. That's for sure. Yeah, it fits on that. Pretty fine. It doesn't look like the basket's failing. No, it's fine. It's fine. Gonna plug it in. Now let's not get copyrighted and lawsuit struck in by whatever the company did that. And we're gonna brighten this up. Oh yeah, what happened to my little keyboard device? Ah! Can I adjust the brightness on this thing? There we go, that's a little more like it. Don't think Firefox needs an update on this thing. I don't know. We'll see. Also, yeah, this laptop kind of provides a bit of an argument for the optimization thing. So I'm going to close out of Firefox on this computer, because apparently every time I open it up, it seems to error out. And instead, we're just going to micromanage the stream over from this laptop. Not the most promising thing, but, you know, something that hopefully will work. So we'll give it a moment. Thank goodness it's got an SSD inside of it. Otherwise, it'd be really slow. And no, I don't mean like an M.2 SSD, just like one of those external hard drive SSDs, you know? Aha! Well, look at that. 2 watching! Woohoo! Somebody else jumped on! There we go. Okay, now I just need to open up the, That's actually running way better than it is on my own computer, isn't it? Okay, well, let's see if we can get into the streaming center from here now. Go live. Oh! That looks ugly. Is this live? No, it's off by a little bit, but okay. Going into the Creator Studio, and it should show me what's live right now on this. Yes! It says poor right now. I'll keep an eye on it. In other words, I'll just keep my laptop open like this, because I think I'm having better luck with maintaining more smoother streaming with this thing open with Firefox and having it on the internet, rather than having this thing open on the internet with Firefox. So it did. Okay, reconnection successful. Good. Okay, hopefully we can be able to get this back to work. Thankfully, I can interact with the chat with this window over here, so thankfully for that. And it doesn't look like it has any personal information, at least, so that's good. It doesn't look like it. But anyway, I better show you guys what I've been working on. Play. Okay, so I'm trying to remember which monitor was which. Because of the fact that I had to reorganize my monitors, I forget which one does which. So, yay! I got it right off the bat! Yes! Okay. Okay, it's still bouncing around all over the place, but it's not looking as bad as it was before. Hopefully nobody saw that. It was real quick. Well, not that it matters. It doesn't show too much information anyway, besides the router name, but I guess that's sometimes what some hackers need to get in there. Thankfully, not too many people are watching right now. Now it's saying no data again. Why the heck is it saying no data? That just doesn't make much sense. Oh, well, looks like I can just switch over the monitor right there. Oh, well. I guess I better not mess with it, though. Anyway, so this is personally what I've been working on all recent. So, of course, part of this I've already revealed, and that is actually taking information from a bitmap image and turning it into, like, an actual map. So, let's see. Let's go into room data. There we go. This is what I'm looking for. Okay, so if you see all this is basically the checks that run, or well, okay, I was originally planning on using Boolean operators for this, but apparently it doesn't seem to like using it too much. So I don't know why. I may just delete that, but we'll see. We'll see. But anyway, primarily it just gets the size up. And then, of course, if you run something like, I don't know, the collision data, basically it just checks the image it checks the image that is loaded in to see which color you're on, and it is still buffering. What the heck? Okay, doing this kind of made things worse. What the heck? Why on earth is this? Okay, there we go. There we go. Hopefully you guys didn't miss too much. Because primarily right now what I'm talking about is basically my little setup here that I have where basically it reads an image file and sets up a... Oh, it basically sets up the level from there, including collision data, and also if you wanted to, load data too for the room. So, you know, actually a great example is this one, the int return num1. So basically this is the data for like loading in like certain objects and such. Unfortunately, it only goes up to 7. Well, okay. There's only like 8 colors available on the splotches, but right now I'm trying to work on it so that maybe you can use the full 128 color palette that I have predefined, which I'll probably show you here in just a second. Let's see if GIF is going to fire up real quick. Like, it probably isn't, but you know. Is the music still playing? Better check. Hopefully you guys can still hear the music. Okay, it looks like it's going back smooth again. Okay, it says it's good, so I guess we'll have to stick with that. Though it is lower than what it should be again. It says no data, but it's still receiving stuff, so... And OBS says it's now sending, so what the heck? Ah, here we go. Here's the color palette. Basically, this is the predefined color palette that I have for the Weblum's engine. It's basically 128 colors. I mean, well, no, 202 colors. There we go. Basically, kind of a basic 8-bit color palette there. Kind of predefined, but basically for the primary engine itself, I'm actually setting it up so that it has like 4 different levels of well, actually 3 levels of transparency. 4 you can't see, but basically you have like 100%, 75%, 50%, and 25%. Okay, never mind. That is 4. Never mind. 100%, 25%, 50%, and 75%. Yeah, well, that is 4. Wow, I'm dumb. I can't count. Okay, 5 if you include invisible, but you can't see that one. And basically, if that's the case, then you might as well just leave something alone, you know? But yeah. And right now, the only colors that are registered to it is white, black, red. Those are the only colors that are registered to it. So yeah, we got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But I thought I had 7. What the... Oh, wait a second. Oh yeah, there was the in-between colors too, didn't... Wait, yeah, no, there was in-between color too, right? I don't know how I got 7 then. Help! I need to do my math a little bit better. There's a Discord user called Calculus on my group. I think I may need to go like, hey, I need to do you more, man. I need to do you more. Please don't start spamming him, though. I don't think that's his actual Discord name anyway, but, you know. So, yeah, trying to figure out how I did 7. Okay, so basically it always checks for red first. If red is true, then it checks for green. And if green is true, then it checks for blue. If blue is true, then it returns 7. If not, then it returns 4. Otherwise, if blue is false, then basically we'll check for... Well, if green is not true, then basically we'll check for blue first, which will return a 6. And if blue is not there, then it will give back a 1. If red isn't there, then we'll check for a green and a blue anyway. And green and blue are there, then it'll return 5. If blue is there, if green is there but blue isn't, then it'll return 2. And if blue is there and green isn't, then it will return a 3. So, yeah. Now, if I remember correctly, red and blue make magenta, green and blue make yellow, red, green, and blue make white, and then, of course, also red and blue happen to make, wait, no. Oh, yeah, red and green basically make, wait, red and green make yellow, don't they? I need a refresher. Oh, kite cyan! I knew I was missing something. Gosh dang it. I'm such an idiot. But yeah, other words, I'm probably going to eventually get it so that it can recognize all the shades so that you can use the full 128 color palette for defining more maps and more areas. And it would probably work out really well and look pretty nice too. And of course, you can map out almost anything with that. Though, granted, I wouldn't recommend mapping Mount Kilimanjaro all at once if you want to do something like height maps with it or something like that. Reason why I wouldn't recommend doing Mount Kilimanjaro all at once, well, first of all, it saves on hardware. Again, as an optimization thing, it'd probably be better if you did it in chunks, because then, of course, we don't overload the hardware with it. And also, another thing to keep in mind is that it would also happen to... Good grief, why does it keep airing out like that? Anyway. But I also do recommend it for, like, lower-end hardware, again, for better optimization. Make the game run faster, you know? So, anyway. Oh, yeah, and then, of course, we also have the map generator, too, which, of course, also works with roomdata.h. But then, of course, also, I modified my player class. Actually, if you haven't noticed, I started messing around with the control scheme inside the player right here. But I also kind of stopped and thought about this and went like, oh, hi, DevCat. Good to see you. All right. Yeah, right now I was just talking about some of the things that I was doing with the engine and what I'm planning to do future-wise. So right now, basically, I just got done talking about the how it loads in data from images so that you can use like a small bitmap image to map out stuff and do levels and such, which, of course, I mean, if I had to provide an example of this, let's see. Oh, wait, actually, I think there was already a good one inside Becoming the Goal. So let's see here. Data, roomdat. Yep. See, I think I used this one just to primarily detect, just to primarily tell the level where the tiles went. Yeah. And it's a really small image, too, so, you know. Is this game engine going to be public? Yes, but not this version. When I get out into public. Right now, it's just kind of a mess of code all over the place, but eventually I'll get it to the point where we could use it in a major application so that basically the mess of code looks a little more like a friendly user experience rather than just going like, oh. Yeah, I am planning on doing it in open source, actually. Because, tell you the truth, I mean, why not? It does help with the community, and if they need to add anything to it, they can add stuff to it as well. So far, like I said, this is actually what I originally was going to put the player class with, which, yeah, you could definitely tell it's huge. I commented all this out because it's like, I want to redo this. I don't want to keep using this. I was originally going to have all the controls and such within the player class, but then, of course, I stopped and thought about it and went like, that's kind of restricting, number one. And number two, I'm including way too many unnecessary items just within one class. So I decided to just take a step back and just completely and totally restructure it and make it this small, neat little piece of code. Basically including, well, to draw the image, the call to draw the image. Call useful. Godot is an open source engine, and Godot is getting more popular. Yeah, Unity screwed themselves over on that one, didn't they? But I also happen to have a separate one too, in case you only want to use like one instance if you want to. Actual program itself, I think I'll just stick to the vector. And then, of course, I'll have it set up so it would also work with the return X, return Y, set the position for this. Yes, including a Z-axis. Because, you know what, it would be fun to experiment around with 3D someday. But not right now. I think I'll just stick to 2D because it's easier, quicker, and kind of cheaper. But, okay, and then this is my map generator. It looks a little messy, but to tell you the truth, if you ever... Actually, one thing that you probably could do is just look up the tutorial on how to create maps for... Actually, no, the SFML site has a very, very clear tutorial on how to do that kind of stuff, you know? It is very easy to follow. Considering that I actually just copied and pasted this over here. The only thing that I did not paste was this part. Map create, public drawable, transformable, because that's stuff I just wrote down. But in other words, it does work like it should. Okay, this is the main CPP. I don't need that. That can just go down here. There we go. Also, this is another thing that I've been working on too. A whole separate file for controllers. This is kind of where I moved all the control stuff. It includes controllers for the mouse, controllers for the keyboard, which is still in development, and also in development as well, also a controller for like an actual game controller, you know, because some people like to play with game controllers rather than playing with the keyboard and mouse. In fact, I'm one of them, weirdly enough. But is there a way to get your chat in real time and not delayed? Yes, but it does cause some issues too. Actually, I don't know if I can really do that right now. Stream settings. Let's see. After the stream is starting, let's see. Yeah, no, I can't reset the latency on that. I'm sorry. So I can't really necessarily do the chat real time and not delayed. Besides that, I'm having issues with the internet here right now, as you can clearly tell. I'm sorry about that. But anyway. But yeah, I'm working on a bit of a controller class here too. I kind of wanted to have it so it was manage some of the controllers in a way, so that it would know which controller was plugged into the system. But I keep running into some problems with that. First of all, the built-in libraries for SFML does have a sturdy controller class as well, but it doesn't necessarily work the way it should. And it doesn't really necessarily work with all controllers. It's kind of a problem. So basically, class, this little library called gain input. Trying to get this to work was a pain in the butt, but I got it to work. I had to learn how to use CMake though, so let's see. Yeah, give me a second. Which also happened to be a bit of a pain in the butt, but there we go. See? Yeah, it wasn't easy, but I was able to do it. But in other words, actually, surprisingly enough, I hadn't had much of a problem with this. I tried using the refresh already, which, by the way, I'm going to have to bake refresh in to, like, the primary class anyway, because it's supposed to refresh every single time the window refreshes. So that way it knows if a controller is plugged in, if a controller button is being pressed, you know, that sort of stuff. Because, yeah, according to their documentation, they said they needed it. can't really necessarily show it right now because I know that's going to cause major lag inside the computer anyway, with the stream anyway, because unfortunately, I'm experiencing a whole lot of lag with it. Yeah, it's still saying poor. But, in other words, yes, I am trying to make a class that would work with all kinds of controllers. And after I get done with this, I might just share this file. Ooh, what problems do you have right now? Because I could help you. Stream keeps glitching sometimes. That's exactly the kind of problems that I'm experiencing with, actually. That the screen keeps glitching sometimes, and the internet connection just isn't that good. In fact, like I said, before I did this, I read like several internet speed tests, and the results were just all over the place. Like sometimes it would read like up to 12 megabits per second, both download and upload. Sometimes it would read like underneath that for download and upload. Sometimes it would even go like 12 megabits per second for upload, but like maybe 5 megabits per second for download, or and vice versa. It's bizarre. It's all over the place. This is part of the reason why the stream keeps glitching, because the internet sucks. So this is also after they still... Oh, problems with the game engine? Oh, like I said, the primary one is just getting the controller class to set up properly. And right now I'm trying to use game input to see if I can trying to see if I can get that to work with the recognize which controller's which, so that I can get it to, like, I don't know, display a button prompt or something like that, you know? So far, this, when I run it, does nothing but run the configuration manager. Hopefully you can hear the music. There we go. Yeah, it's taking a while. This is the first time I think I've debugged it today. So the system's just going through trying to find all the files and load them up into memory. Hopefully Immunet doesn't try to quarantine this file as a piece of malware, because it isn't. I've tested it many, many times, and it isn't malware. All right, so far it just doesn't do anything but just display a gray screen. Give it a moment. Okay, this delay is actually mine, I will admit. But yeah. What program language am I using? C++. The default language. A language that both Unity and Unreal were developed in. Oh yes, and also Godot too. Godot was also developed in C++. I actually wouldn't be surprised if... Oh, what was it? Oh, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Game Maker was also developed in it too. But, you know, it's a surprisingly versatile language, so, you know. I mean, despite the fact that even if it has some memory management issues. Update, draw win, run win. Okay, so basically I'm just moving here. Ah, yeah, gamepad refresh is already in there, so yeah. But right now I could probably output like the mouse. Let's see here. See. Is left, is middle, snap to, update pose. Oh, well, okay, never mind. I need to run that as a separate function. Ah, okay, I get it now. Okay, so did I get the vector 2f g size? Okay, actually I do have a position vector up. Okay then. So yeah, mouse dot update pose, POS, and then I need G win. Wait, or was it win G? I forget. Game win. Game W. Okay then. Game W. There we go. Now it should also go like. Now it could just go like POS dot X. Oh, probably should put some spaces there so there's some identifier. Okay, and then POS dot Y. And E and D. There. There we go. All right, and then of course when we run the debugger, what are you doing right now to make the controller? So far, I am experimenting around with a class library that, or well, a bunch of libraries that is called a library that's called gain input. Since SFML does have a controller library, but it's not very good. So, and it doesn't really necessarily have any predefined presets for any of the other controllers out there. So I'm messing around with gain input to see if that would work with SFML, which I'm pretty sure it can, because I mean, there's a way of making other libraries compatible with other libraries. You just got to be crafty with it. And the idea is to make it so that it can detect what controller is plugged in, so that it can set the button settings to the right button, and make it so that, you know, two buttons don't overlap whenever they do. So, you know, like, for example, how Xbox controllers have, like, triggers instead of having, like, actual buttons for their lower buttons. You know, kind of like how Nintendo Switch, I mean, show you, they have lower buttons and then upper buttons. The Xbox 360 controllers don't have that. They have, like, little trigger switches that basically go in and out. They slide in and out. The idea is so that, basically, when it has to make adjustments to the buttons, there wouldn't be two buttons overlapping whenever it came down to using another controller. So basically, like, pressing start doesn't make you press jump too, you know? That is kind of the biggest thing right there. So far, I actually am just showing off some of the mouse class here. Whoop, there we go. Should be working. There we go. 0. Basically, I just kind of had it set up to doing like unsigned integers, basically. So no matter which way you look at it, if you go out here, event type SFM key, event key pressed, something like this. Well, not quite. Because for the keyboard, that's actually really easy. Tell you the truth. I already know how to do the keyboard ones without any problems. I mean, I'm talking about actual game controllers. Like, oh, where did I put it? It's around here somewhere. Well, I mean, I guess I might as well just pull this one up for reference. It's a Wii U game controller, but basically, when it comes down to it, basically, it's kind of like how there's always a preset for buttons, and not every button has the same exact layout. I mean, like, for example, for the Wii U or for the Nintendo, basically X is at the top. For Xbox, the X is over here, and for Sony, the X is down here. You know, something like that. And then, of course, how they label the buttons on a computer would be basically, for Nintendo, I'm pretty sure this would be button 1. This would be, well, button 0 technically, but still. Button 2, button 3, and button 4. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Okay, so X does come before Y. Okay, then, yeah. But for an Xbox controller, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, you know? Something like that. And then for, like, if you got a generic controller, then basically it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, you know? And that's the part that I'm trying to figure out. That's the worker. That's the problem. It's got nothing really to do with the keyboard, because really, the keyboard's really freaking easy. So, you know, like, bool, I like... Forgetting what to do here. Okay, void... Oh, probably should put a... There we go. Bool up. Can I see what the engine looks like so far? Basically, I've actually already been showing you. Oh, wait. Oh, no! It's going to read that and it's going to freak out. It's going to give me some errors. Ah, hold on. I need to comment this all out. There we go. Okay, now that we're not going to get any syntax errors. So far, basically, it's just a settings window. And then this gray window right here that basically puts up a mouse input right over here. But don't worry, I think I probably would also use this mouse controller right here for also detecting the mouse over the actual game engine itself as well. But at the moment, it's not much to look at. Like I said, this is the reason why I'm saying it's not going to be a public release yet. But once I get to the point where I can actually put some of this stuff inside an actual engine and use it like an actual engine, then in that case, yes, I probably would be able to get it to work like that and do stuff like an actual game engine anyway. But also the idea with it too is to have it a little bit universal too, so that people can play around with it. And why do you make the hub look like a game menu? And it says for play, start the game. Yes, it does say that for play, doesn't it? Pull down, pull left, pull right. Oh, probably should put the ampersands in front of those though, so that, you know. Ah, that's an at symbol. The reason why is because actually that's the default configuration that I use for the games as well. Like I said, it's still a work in progress. There's still some things that I need to fix. Though, granted, the reason why I will make it look like a game menu was because, actually, I just kind of wanted, you know, this isn't like Unreal or Unity, and I didn't want to have like a basic configuration look to it, you know, where it's basically like just drop down windows and such. No, I just wanted it to look cool. I wanted it to look as cool as I possibly could. Makes it look like Unity Hub or something like that. Really? Why on earth does you think it says that? It looks like that. Though, granted, this is actually one thing that I also happen to have a problem with too. Is the audio controls. Now, for music, sounds, and voices, I could easily do that. Because, you know, basically all you gotta do is just take, like, this, divide it by... I believe you divide it by... No. Oh, wait, 0.01. I haven't been able to figure anything out for that yet. I did not say it looks like that. I said make it look like that? Am I reading that right? Sorry, that little heart symbol is covering over it. So I could make it look like that. Well, yeah, you could. You could. If you wanted to. But yeah. So far, when it comes down to the volume controls, basically I kind of have it so that left mouse button turns it down and right mouse button turns it up. But basically, yeah, for the voices, the sound, and the music, that's easy to do for adjusting the audio. But for the overall, I haven't been able to figure anything out with that one yet. I mean, I've been working on several ideas, but so far, nothing has worked so far. So, I don't know. I may just scrap the overall thing, but who knows. But yeah. What is the point of volume controls? You know, if some people don't want the game too loud, you know, like for example, if they're playing it through the speakers and they didn't want to wake up the baby in the next room, they could just turn it down if they need to. And you know what? Everybody kind of likes some audios at different levels too. For example, actually, this is how I usually prefer it. Okay, I might as well just fire this up again. Show you. So here's how I usually do it. Come on. Okay, why is my computer running slow all of a sudden again? I hope it's not because one of my virus scanners is running in the background. It doesn't look like it. Basically, this is one thing that I usually tend to do. I usually tend to do music like maybe 75% sounds at like maybe 8. Let's go 85. And then I just leave the voices at 100 so you can hear the voices. You know, because you know what? In that case, it kind of makes it a little more easier for me to hear some of the voices that are in the background. Also, the sounds are still kind of important too. And while the music, granted, I do like listening to video game music, it doesn't always necessarily mean that I want it to be blaring in my ears, you know? And sometimes some people just like fiddling around with some of this stuff, you know? And personally, I think the idea of having this as a it's still a work in progress, okay? And yes, I will still have the audio controls available for the game engine itself anyway. So that, again, I mean, look, it's not representative of the final product, okay? It's still a long ways out. There's a reason why it says developing on the title. Or, well, development anyway. And then idea discussion, basically. And look, even if it's for, and yes, even if I'm using the configuration manager for the game, basically right now it's still very, very early in development. An engine does not really need controls for volume. Well, only depending. Because you know what? Is that I was also going to plan on including audio editors and a music maker as well. Now that could use some audio control sometimes. Look, as far as I know, there is no game engine out there that actually includes an audio editor, audio recorder, and heck, even let alone a music maker. It is a future plan for the engine, of course, for the public release. And you know, some people probably wouldn't want to have it too loud or whatever. And yes, I get it. The volume control thing is still kind of early on. And personally, right now, I know it's still kind of using some of the more beta elements. It's still early. Right now, I'm just kind of using the configuration manager that I copied over from. Yeah. Basically, the configuration manager that I copied over from the. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thoughts here. But basically, I'm using the configuration manager that I copied over from some of the other game projects that I've done. So I didn't necessarily adjust anything for it. I just kind of copy pasted it and just went with it. Now, I get why some of this stuff may seem a little bit unnecessary, and yeah, that's fine. I mean, it is unnecessary. It isn't always needed. At the same time, I didn't bother to go through to fix anything because, again, this is stuff that I'm probably just going to include within a game anyway. And right now, again, the game engine is nothing more than just a bunch of header files and code spaghetti together. At the moment, it's still kind of in development. But in other words, yeah. Like I said, right now it's just nothing more than just a bunch of spaghetti code, code just strung together using a bunch of header files at the moment. There's nothing too impressive to look at here yet, engine-wise. I don't have anything really done yet. No modules, no nothing. Though, granted, I was expecting to do something a little bit more here, so, And, I was still expecting to work on the engine too, so. Okay, better put a ampersand in front of these two. There we go. Okay, so here we go. Well, actually, up equals false. There we go. Key con dot is key pressed. Hate it when you stumble across. I hate it when I stumble across these keys like that. R-I-G-H-T. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Key con dot is key. No, not set key virtual keyboard visible. Keyboard, there we go, and space. I think this is probably the one that I'm going to do. You know, now that I'm looking at it, now that I'm stopping and think about it, I'm just realizing I could have just actually done this way more efficiently if I would have done. But then again, it doesn't work nearly as well, though, when I do it like that. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. Keyboard, and then... keycon.is key pressed. Keyboard, and then I'm going to go E on... Oh, wait, no. Keyboard. Hmm. Mm-hmm. What should I assign for the fourth action? Don't worry, I realized what my big mistake was there. That's not supposed to happen. Because if you do that, people would be pressing the key and going like, why is nothing happening? But anyway, all right. So basically, I'm going to map it the same way like I would on a controller, basically, where there would be 4 front-facing buttons, and those would be the primary ones. I just put space as action 1 because normally that would be the best button to press for jump. We'll use Q, E, and F for the WASD layout, and then for the arrow keys layout, I just used right Alt, right Control, and right Shift. I hope that works for people. But I need to test this to see if this works. So we're gonna go Control Controller keyboard. There we go. Pull down, pull right, pull left, pull A1, pull A2, pull A3, pull A4. Excuse me. Controls, up, down, left, right, A1, A2, A3, and A4. Did I put ampersands with all those? Better check. Yeah, I put ampersands with all those. Okay, good. Just gonna... Actually, we're just gonna... Ah, and I pressed copy and it froze up. Yippee! Anybody still watching this? Oh, there's only one viewer left. Okay, I guess that's just me. Oh well. I am stupid. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. Now we're just going to replace pose X with up. Find and replace pose Y with, instead of pose, we're just going to go down. Replace. Left. Replace. Right. Replace. A1. Replace. A2. Replace. A3. Replace. And A4. And replace. No more occurrences. Yippee! It's me! Wait, what? Oh no! Freddy Biff Fazbear is watching! Alright, here we go. Now, we're going to test out this keyboard thing. Check to see if the primary layout is working and the alt layout is working. The reason why I include the alt layout is because, well, not everybody has a QWERTY keyboard. But everybody, as far as I know, all keyboards have arrow keys. So, and an alt, and a control, and a space, and a shift key. All on the right side, if I remember correctly. So, we're going to test this out and see if this works. So, it's just a gray window, I know, but this is just for testing reasons. Okay, so, up works right there, down, works right there as well. Left, works right there as well. Right, works right there as well. Okay, then. And then space. Wait. Oh, wait. Left is working. Okay, space is working. That works. That works. Okay, yeah, no, it's coming from the same thing. Okay, so that works. So does that. Then this works. And so does this. Good. All of it is working. That's good. All right. Now, maybe we should get rid of this before people start thinking A1 barbecue sauce. Oh, yeah, and I should probably break out my game controller, too. Where did I put that gamepad? Oh, where is the Logitech? G30. Oh, it's over there. There we go. Yo, hey, welcome to the stream. It's me, the Polycube. Hey, good to see you. All right. Yeah, the F310. There we go. Good old Logitech F310. This controller is reliable, has not failed me yet. Doesn't have vibration on it, but hey. All right, so now we're just going to test the controller controls instead of the keyboard controls. So we're just going to delete all this before people start seeing A1 as in like A1 barbecue sauce. Or, well, actually, no. A1 is steak sauce. What am I talking about? Sheesh. There we go. Okay, so I got my manager of refresh right up there. Wait, did I delete that from here? Yes, I deleted it from there. Whoopsies. What you doing? Trying to get controllers to work right now. I know that SFML has a controller class, and it's like, it works all right, but it's not perfect. It doesn't really necessarily detect what kind of controller it's working with, and that there is a little bit of a problem, especially when you have to shift it from, like, I don't know, like an Xbox controller to another controller. Like, for example, this gamepad, can do both direct and Xbox controls. Right now it's in direct mode, basically meaning that now it is no longer working with the Xbox interface. It's no longer working as an Xbox interface. Now it's working as a standard controller. And then I flip the switch back over, and then it becomes an Xbox controller again. So what we need to do is I do have the controller thing set up right here. So yep, gamepad dot refresh. And then this should just refresh it every single time the window goes through a cycle. Meaning the frame, of course. Since usually in game dev, you usually measure things throughout frames per second. Right now, I just finished testing out the keyboard layout. I'm going to be testing out the controller layout. Or, well, setting up a controller layout anyway. But I also need to look up something. Oh, yeah, that's right. Gain input. Okay. Let's bring up my laptop. Since I'm using this for the internet and not my computer, since apparently I seem to die whenever I load up Firefox. Wait a second. Ah! I just remembered something. Where's my little... Ah. Here it is. This is a neat little device. You can do keyboard controls, and then of course you can do gamepad controls on the other side. Kind of neat. Anyway, let's see here. Gain. See here, GAIN. There we go. Gain input cross-platform C++ library. There we go. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Open the API docs. I stalked you on stream? Wait, what? Should I be worried? Is there a crazy man looking at me through my window? Oh, no, there isn't. Okay then, I'm fine. All right then. So let's see here. Button manager, get pulled up was down, confirmed. So So I think if that's the case, then maybe I might just do like this. Int button. Don't mind my chicken. I stalked you on Steam. Oh, wait a second. You stalked me on Steam. Okay, I'm very curious now. I gotta take a look at this. I don't have anything in my notification center. I actually didn't think I had my Steam account still linked up to my YouTube links. But okay, so let's see here. No way I will be friends on Steam with Superchocolatemilkshake. Aw, that sucks. Oh well. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so let's see here. Manager. Okay. Add device state modifier, add listener, begin, find device ID, get allocator, get any button down, get device count by type, get display height, get display width, get time, handle message. Really? Maybe we'll just say get any button down. And does this need anything? What's your favorite game of all time, by the way? Actually, surprisingly enough, it's a Hat in Time, but second best actually has to be Need for Speed Porsche Unleashed. I know, it's an old game, but you know what? It's a solid game, and tell you the truth, it works for what it is. And I do love playing it. I spent hours playing that game when I was a kid, and tell you the truth, even now I still play it. So let's see here. Let's check out the pendencies. Aha! Classes! There we go, class list. Input map, huh? So basically, when it comes down to it, this is one thing that I would have to say. You need to check out A Hat in Time? It's good. It really is good. It's pretty easy, but it's pretty good too. Well, not unless you get the Seal the Deal DLC and you play Death Wish. Then in that case, that's when the game starts to get harder, but default STT vector like data container for POD types. So I'm curious on what some of this stuff does. Let's see. Okay, this documentation is exactly similar to how, which is actually pretty useful, meaning that I can read this stuff. Yippee! Ugh. So let's see what we got here. I might check that out. Let's see if. Okay, so I think I may have to use several classes in order to use this, but I need to get a little second because I need to go run to the restroom real quick. Like, excuse me. There we go. Sorry, I had to run to the bathroom real quick. Like, what is the stream bugging out again? It's probably bugging out again. Yeah, I blame the internet around here. It's not too good, and I'm using my phone as a Wi-Fi card too, which probably isn't helping much. But anyway, I just had a rather interesting thought inside the bathroom. And in fact, when it comes down to it, I have to show this meme before I tell you what my interesting idea is. So give me a quick second. I got it around here somewhere. And we'll just click on my webcam, back out of that, and then let's see here. I know it was in one of these folders. Man, oh man, I really do need to reorganize all my... Is it new folder 3? Probably not. Nope, it's not in new folder 3. Ah! My computer is a mess! No, it's not that one. Could it be in this one? No. I'm not showing you that. New folder 2? I don't know what's going on in that image, but... I knew I had it somewhere on here. There we go! This is the image that went through my mind. This is the image that went. Oh my goodness. Okay, so anyway, outside of the laugh that we just shared, all right, allow me to explain what my idea is. So I'm going to get rid of the int button press because I need to map some of the buttons, apparently. Manually, sort of, kind of. So, but since this probably might do a better job returning the control state, or, well, what controller is which, I believe. Because if I remember correctly, it does work with the Xbox controllers. But I got to take a look. Give me a quick second. Gain input, C, gain input. Okay, so input manager dot create a device, huh? Is that an option? Okay. Create and get a device. Yes, that is an option. But I think I need to put something in there. What do I do with that? Okay, time to check out our class list here. And we need to go into input manager. Okay, input gesture, data state, device, keyboard, mouse, pad, input map, input player, input. Should be input manager. There we go. Huh, let's say create windows too. Not that it's going to matter to me because I'm already using SFML. So create and get a device. I need to get device variant and input device. So okay, so what I need to do is get a input device ID. So basically I can get rid of that and just go, oh. I'm sitting here thinking about this. Okay, so basically this is just a template, so I shouldn't be using it. But I have an idea. Did I just literally click on refresh when I meant to click on install updates? Sheesh Louise, I'm an idiot. Okay, so I have an idea. But basically, I kind of want you to do this while it's in the loading phase, not while it's anything else. And I'm just going to set up, well, Okay, so what's it expecting here? Oh, show me! Thank you. No, I want you to show me! Thank you. Okay. So I literally have to use this. When do you think this can make this open source and public? Well, I was actually thinking after the release of Cadroy Blade Man, one of the current projects that I'm working on, which, of course, if I had to show you, would be this project right here. So far, it's still pretty much in early development, but so far I need to also develop a bit of a sprite class too to handle the sprite sheets that I'm working on. I'm going to show you Farfags in particular because this one's probably the most finished. Give it a moment. GIMP should be opening this. GIMP should be opening it. Okay, there we go. Anyway, so basically when it comes down to it, I'm trying to get it so that it can handle the sprite sheets like... We don't need that. There we go. So it can also handle sprite sheets like this. All right, I'm also going to view the grid, show the grid too, which is a 20 by 20 pixel radius. There we go. And so far, I have no idea when I'm going to be developing it, but, you know. But the idea is that this character is about 60 by 60 pixels wide. And since I'm doing it on like a 20 by 20 grid, basically this, and this are 60 pixels wide. This is 60 pixels tall, but 20 pixels wide. This is like 40 by 60. Same thing goes with this. Actually, wait, no. Okay, these are 40 by 60. Sorry. 40 pixels tall, well, no, actually, it's 60 by 40, really, if you want to be accurate. 60 pixels wide and 40 pixels tall. And this is just like 40 by 40. But the idea is that it's supposed to... basically, the idea is that it's supposed to load up the one image and then put the sprites inside a small little box that is 60 by 60 pixels wide, showing this, and some of these whenever they're displayed on time. So, you know, basically, like, for example, if I wanted to sync up the mouth, basically it will be like jumping from here to here and here and here. Kind of doing stuff like that, you know? Or I wanted to sync up the hat to something. It's like this and this would be like this and this, you know? Something like that. Just kind of having like one defining box, but kind of fitting all these sprites into that said defining box. If you want to say it at the very least. Game put. Okay. That's not what I need. I need device controller. Device ID. I'm just going to make it backwards so that I can easily make... Okay, and then we're just going to put down ID device. And there we go. Let's see if that works. And then I think I might also have it where it goes like C out. I don't know what this is going to do, but if this creates an error, it hasn't yet, so maybe it might work. We'll see. Run in debugger! Let's go. Why are you making your own engine, by the way? Well, I've already discussed this before. Why my own engine? Primarily for multiple reasons. Number one, if I have a bug that actually I encounter within the engine while developing a game, or if I happen to have or there is a certain feature that I need to work on, I can just jump in and immediately work on it instead of having to wait for like whatever people to develop the update for or go searching through an asset store to find what I need. Or if not, I'll have to jailbreak whatever I need myself inside the engine, but that could also take a while too, and I may also encounter far as many bugs just as well, instead of just going in directly into the programming and fixing. Another thing that would also be another thing that's also helpful with another game within the game engine is optimization. Building your own game engine is optimization. $4,000 word that's going on right now. Why is it not pulling up any device IDs? It's only pulling up 0. Very bizarre. Very bizarre. But anyway, the real truth is that basically when it comes down to it, there hasn't been too many games that have been very well optimized. And they barely run on the cards that they're supposed to run on, which is a huge problem, by the way. So that means that a lot of people on lower end hardware isn't able to run some of these games, and that also kind of limits a lot of your market. And I mean, yes, I know that there's quite a few people who don't run lower end hardware, but don't forget, if it runs well on lower end hardware, it would run just as fine on higher end hardware, if not even better sometimes. Well, depending, but who knows? Okay, so it's returning device ID as 0, huh? That's interesting. Actually, I probably should check. Well, again, it's an optimization. There's some optimizations that you can actually do with your own custom engine that you can't do with a mainline engine. And, another fun thing about this is that basically you can also, do whatever the heck you want with it too, compared to some other game engines. Yeah, I know, because I mean, trust me, even Unreal has its limitations. Game engines like Unreal and Unity have their limitations, of course, but sorry about that. I'm kind of absorbed into this, trying to figure out this problem here. All right, so let's see here. Well, what about input device, huh? What on earth is that? I better check that. Okay. Game put. Oh, come on, work with me. Input device. There we go. Don't talk nonsense. I'm not. Objects, class type. Actually, it is still pretty much case of, yeah, no, they still do have limitations. I mean, even if Unreal 4 and Unreal 5, the more recent one, is looking like it may not have much much in the limitations, there is probably a limitation somewhere. Go poke it around long enough, you'll probably find it. And again, optimization is also a problem too. Because again, this is actually probably the biggest problem with a lot of modern day game engines is that, again, a lot of games aren't being optimized very well anymore. A lot of games don't seem to run on the hardware that they're dedicated for and that they're really set for. The minimum recommendations aren't really necessarily minimum recommendations. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of a problem. It really kind of limits the access of your market. And, true story. Actually, it was way before I upgraded it from a... Actually, it was before I upgraded it to the 1650 that it used to have a 720 inside of it. Yeah, very, very weak card. There were very few games that I could run on it. But anyway. Just trying to figure out this. I wonder. Okay, that's interesting. It's still producing 0, isn't it? Yeah, it's still producing 0s. Should have saw that one coming. Okay, then. Well, let's see here. I mean, I had a really good brainstorm where basically I would start inside the refresh. I could probably just list down all the controller types that I need so that it would know which button presets it would run off of. And therefore, after that, it would be able to, register the buttons as if they were being played on their actual controller type instead of just being like on the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4. Also telling the game engine which thing it also needs to read off of too. So, like, for example, if I wanted to have it off of an Xbox 360 controller, it would show A instead of button 1, Like I said, try to figure this out.